For more on this, let's bring in Mike Davis, founder and president of Article 3 Project. Mike, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Edward just ran a little bit of that tape from the Treasury Secretary with Maria this morning. I want to run, it includes some of what Edward had, but something at the beginning that he said in that comment, I want to play for you and get your reaction. Roll it.
What we haven't heard from Ms. Cook is we haven't heard her say, I didn't do it. We haven't heard her say, I didn't do it. The Fed is an unaccountable institution, and its relationship with the American people depends on a high level of trust. And incidents like this puncture that trust. So President Trump is trying to make sure that anyone who serves at this institution has the trust of the American people.
So, Mike, 4 simple little words. I didn't do it. Why haven't we heard that from her?
Well, it seems like the evidence is pretty clear that she did do it. And so that's a problem. That's what gives the President of the United States the power under our statutes to fire her for cause. But separate from that statutory power, the President has power under Article 2 of the Constitution to fire any of these executive branch officers. And if people argue that he does not have that power, then the Fed is unconstitutional.
Well, and just cause, I mean, you know, there's a little wiggle room in terms of what is meant by just cause, but isn't undermining the authority of the Fed a just cause?
Yeah, if you're not trusted to apply for mortgages for your residences, if you say it's a primary residence and get a lower interest rate when it's not a primary residence, it's an investment property, you obviously can't be trusted with our financial system.
And I want to bring up again, I brought it up yesterday, but this 2023 working paper from the Federal Reserve Bank in Philadelphia, which is all about what she is alleged to have done. It's called owner occupancy fraud and mortgage performance. They say that if you are guilty of doing what she has done, you're 75% more likely to miss your payments on your mortgage, and it could have strategic consequences. That is, it could lead to subprime mortgage disasters like the one we saw in 2008.
Yeah, I mean, she clearly should lose her job. The president has the statutory right to fire her. He has the constitutional right to fire her.
And more than any other bank. I mean, I know that 2008 was all about trust, and the American public, whenever the American public loses trust in their financial institutions, there's trouble. And there's no more important bank in the United States, maybe in the whole world, than the Federal Reserve. It's that trust. Don't her actions undermine the trust that we need for our financial system to continue?
Yeah, I mean, she's one of the 7 governors on the Federal Reserve Board. This is she's supposed to be beyond reproach, and she clearly is not, or at least the evidence strongly suggests that.
Well, the Fed came out with a statement yesterday, and they made clear that they're going to use the full weight of their institution to back her. They say, as always, the Federal Reserve will abide by any court decision. The problem with the court decision, this could take months, maybe even longer than that, to resolve itself.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that the Fed wants to die on this hill. They clearly have a corrupt governor on the Fed who lied on a mortgage application, or at least that's what the evidence strongly suggests. I think they may want to cut bait on that one.
I want to switch gears and talk about something you know very well, because you used to work on it with an old boss, and that is the blockade of senior level appointments that the administration is facing right now. Is just unprecedented. We've had only 135 out of 1,000 appointments been confirmed. That's just 13%. To put it in perspective, I believe at this point in the first Trump administration, they had about 65% approval of their appointments. What's going on there, and why can't the leader of the Senate, who happens to be a Republican, move things along?
I worked for Senator Chuck Grassley, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. He helped President Trump confirm a record number of judges in President Trump's first term. He's going to do it again in President Trump's second term. The issue is the senators work about 2.5 days a week. It's the most elite nursing home in the world. And so all you have to do is merely threaten to make these senators work past 2 p.m. on Thursday, and it's amazing how many nominees you can get confirmed. I would say to these Democrat senators, if they want to resist, let's have Resistance Fridays and see how many Fridays they want to come into the Senate to vote to resist President Trump's nominees. So that's all you have to do is just make these senators work.
Well, why doesn't Mr. Thune, Senator Thune, do that?
He needs to get all of the Republican senators, or at least 50 Republican senators, to go along with that, because if he doesn't have the votes in Washington, D.C., because even Senate Republicans love to take their long weekends, if he can just get 50 Senate Republicans to commit to working past 2 p.m. on Thursday, or God forbid, before 5 p.m. on Monday, then maybe we can start confirming President Trump's nominees.
If there was ever a reason, I know you're the senator you used to work for, Senator Grassley's an elder gentleman. He's been in the Senate for a long time, but he has more energy than most people. But this really is a perfect example of why we need term limits, isn't it?
Well, I would say that Senator Chuck Grassley is a workhorse. He's not a show horse. He will work circles around his colleagues. He will gladly work past 2 p.m. on Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday until we confirm these nominees. Senator Grassley's not the problem. The problem is the Senate culture.
Yeah. It may not be directly related to this, but what Alina Habba is going through, she was put up to be the U.S. Attorney in New Jersey. Various things happened, and she lost her bidding due to something called blue slipping, which is if you have a senator from the state that U.S. Attorney is going to be put in who really objects to that appointment, they can essentially kill the nomination. Is that related to what we're talking about, or is that a whole different ballgame?
It's similar. So I would say this. I think Alina Habba is a warrior. She's a friend. She's been great for President Trump. The issue, Senator Grassley is not the problem here. That the issue is that they have this 100-year tradition in the Senate called blue slips, where the home state senators have to sign off on all of these U.S. Attorney, U.S. Marshal, and District Court nominees from their home states. I don't like the blue slip process, but the issue is that 100 senators do, because they don't want to give up that power. So if Grassley moved forward with any nominee without blue slips, that nominee would fail in the Senate Judiciary Committee votes and certainly fail on the Senate floor. And it's more than just Tillis from North Carolina who's publicly said that he would oppose nominees without blue slips. There are a lot of other Senate Republicans who would oppose those nominees.
Okay, they're giving me a rap, Mike, but I just have to ask you about this horrible thing that happened today, the shooting in Minneapolis. Already you're beginning to hear people put it into political context, particularly people that are flailing around in the water without a paddle, people like Gavin Newsom, et cetera. What do you make of that? I mean, isn't this one of those issues where we really have to come together as a country?
Yeah, I mean, Kash Patel, the FBI director, has come out and said that he's going to investigate this as a hate crime against Catholics and an act of terrorism. I commend Kash Patel for doing that. We need to start treating mental illness in this country instead of loading people up with drugs who are severely mentally ill and affirming their mental illness. These people are a grave danger to America.
They are indeed. Mike Davis, thank you so much for being here, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.